Hey, YC. Great to just have this time to connect together and to think about our lives and how God wants to use this season, crazy season, season of isolation, a season where we're in the wilderness to His benefit, to our benefit. So I want us to think about the wilderness. Luke chapter 4, when Jesus goes into the wilderness, He finds Himself all alone. And in that place, there's 5 characteristics that I said are true whenever there's a wilderness story in the Bible. One is that we're usually leaving something or running from something. We are isolated. We are in transition. Number 3, we're tested and we are developed. In my backyard, there's a sense of just quiet isolation. Nothing really happening out here. It snowed last night, and in one way it's beautiful, and another way it feels cold. And I think that's what happens when we're all alone. We feel isolated. We feel like no one understands. We feel like there's a lonely space that maybe we're not so sure we want to fill. And in that space, I think God wants us to fill it. He wants us to recognize that whenever we are alone, whenever there's something that we feel maybe abandonment, we feel this disconnection, that indeed might be our wilderness and the space where God wants us to be more attentive to what He's doing in us. So with me for the next few minutes, think about your space within the coronavirus, within this time that maybe you've been pushed into, maybe you've lost employment, maybe you've lost a sense of security, you're fearful about your health or someone's health you love. In that space where we feel more alone, it's our task as believers, as disciples of Jesus, to fill that second thing, that sense of isolation, with solitude. The reason this is so hard is because solitude gives us way more room to think than we usually want. Blaise Pascal, the great French mathematician, said, "Man's miseries are derived from not being able to sit in a quiet room all alone." That's good. I think he's right. I think we don't like to be alone because our thoughts come rushing in and we struggle to understand what God is saying to us in a season. If God, in the wilderness, wants to test you and help you pass that test and help you learn from the tests you fail, so that number 5, the 5th thing, He can develop you, then it's up to us to ask Him for that development, to seek Him for that development. In that space of aloneness, God wants to deal with our insecurities. Another ancient author said, "Solitude is a terrible trial, for it serves to crack open and burst apart our superficial securities." That's spot on. God wants to use this season, I know, undoubtedly, to help burst apart, to crack open your superficial securities. The things you are tempted to kind of hold on to think you're okay, a job or your sports, your affiliation, your associations, those attachments to those things are superficial securities. He wants to use this season to burst those apart, to empower you to embrace Him more deeply, to know Him more intimately. One of my favorite authors, Henry Nouwen, says that without solitude, it is almost impossible to live the Christian life. Without silence and solitude, it is almost impossible to live the Christian life. That's true. So what if we took this opportunity to look at this isolation, this wilderness, as a very unique time and place and season to immerse ourselves more deeply in our relationship with Him? Take this moment and just with me, invite Jesus. Jesus, meet us in this place, in this wilderness. Show us more of your grace and mercy. Teach us, develop us, Lord, help us to see what it is we need to leave behind, what it is we need to let go of, and what it is we need to learn. My prayer for you is exactly that. What do I need to leave behind? What do I need to let go of so I can take hold of Him more intimately, more fully, to fill this isolation with the solitude of connecting with Him? I look forward to seeing you soon. We will get through this. God will develop us. And if you pass the test, oh my gosh, how cool is that? And if you fail the test along the way, Jesus and we at Yosemite Church wait right here for you to continue to love you, to support you, to develop you. God bless you. See you soon.